Okay, real talk. You've sat down at a sushi restaurant, maybe somewhere in Tokyo, maybe somewhere in Toronto, maybe somewhere in the middle of nowhere that somehow has a sushi menus. And you've got that little green mound sitting right there on your plate. You dab your chopsticks into it, drag it through your soy sauce, and you think to yourself, yeah, that's wasabi. That burn hits the back of your sinuses. Your eyes water a little, and the whole experience feels authentic, traditional, Japanese. Except here's the thing. What you just ate was almost certainly not wasabi. Like, at all. And I'm not talking about a small percentage of restaurants cutting corners. According to research cross-referenced by multiple food science institutions, somewhere between 95 and 99% of the wasabi served in restaurants outside of Japan, and a significant portion inside Japan, is fake. It's a paste made primarily from horseradish, mustard powder, starch, and green food coloring. That's the wasabi lie. And once you see it, you genuinely cannot unsee it. What real wasabi actually is. So let's start from the beginning, because the confusion starts with most people not knowing what real wasabi actually is. True wasabi comes from a plant called Wasabia japonica, a semi-aquatic plant that grows naturally along stream beds in the mountain valleys of Japan. It is, without exaggeration, one of the most difficult crops on the planet to cultivate. It needs cold, clean, running water, specific shade conditions, precise soil, and it takes anywhere from 18 months to 3 years to reach maturity. 3 years for one plant. The part you eat is the rhizome, the thick stem, and a trained chef grates it fresh, using a shark skin grater called an orishigani right before serving. And this is critical once grated. Real wasabi starts losing its flavor within 15 minutes. It doesn't keep. You grate it, you eat it immediately, or it's gone. That's the real product. That's what we're comparing the green paste in your sushi restaurant to. And the difference isn't just cultural, it's chemical, biological, and, as we're about to get into, potentially medically relevant. The chemistry of fake versus real. Real wasabi gets its heat from compounds called isothiocyanates, specifically a group that includes 6-methylthiohexyl, isothiocyanate, and related structures. These are volatile compounds that evaporate quickly, which is why real wasabi loses potency so fast. The heat rises into your nasal passages and then dissipates cleanly. It's a sharp upward sensation that doesn't linger. Fake wasabi, the horseradish paste, produces a cruder, more aggressive heat that sits in your mouth longer. Different chemical profile, different physiological response entirely. But here's where it gets medically interesting. A 2014 study in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry examined the bioactive compounds in genuine Wasabia japonica and found that its longer-chain isothiocyanates, not found in significant quantities in horseradish, showed meaningful anti-inflammatory and antibacterial properties in laboratory settings. Then, in 2022, researchers at MIT published a study in neuropsychopharmacology examining a specific compound in real wasabi called 6-MS-IKE. In a 12-week trial involving 72 adults aged 60 to 80, those supplementing with this wasabi extract showed significantly better episodic and working memory than the placebo group. The researchers themselves described the results as striking. Does that mean wasabi is a brain drug? No. One study doesn't make a superfood, but what it does confirm is that real wasabi contains bioactive compounds. The horseradish paste simply does not replicate. These are not the same product. They never were. By the way, if you're finding this genuinely surprising, hit the like button right now. It helps more people see this. And honestly, more people deserve to know what they've been eating. How did this happen? So how did we get here? How did a fake version of a food replace the real thing so completely that most people don't even know the original exists? The answer is economics. Purely and simply, real wasabi farming is extraordinarily labor-intensive. The conditions required are precise, and the yield is tiny. A kilogram of fresh wasabi rhizome can cost anywhere from $75 to $250 depending on the market and season. A restaurant using genuine grated wasabi for every table would either need to charge significantly more or absorb a much tighter margin. In the competitive world of the restaurant industry, that math doesn't work. Horseradish, by contrast, is a robust, easy-to-grow root crop that thrives across Europe, North America, and parts of Asia. It's cheap, widely available, and when you mix it with mustard powder and green dye, it looks and burns like the real thing. at least to anyone who's never had the real thing, which, as we've established, is almost everyone. The food industry found a cost-effective substitute. The substitute became the norm, and the labels became deliberately vague. Walk into any grocery store right now and look at the wasabi products on the shelf. Turn them over. You'll almost certainly find horseradish listed first, with wasabi displayed prominently on the front. That's not an accident. A 2016 consumer investigation by the BBC found that in a survey of sushi restaurants across the United Kingdom, not a single restaurant sampled was serving genuine wasabi, yet all described it simply as wasabi on their menus. A separate investigation in Australia found identical results. There's no widespread regulatory framework requiring restaurants to distinguish between genuine wasabi and horseradish paste on their menus, and that gap is being exploited every single day in every country, at every price point. Where can you actually get real wasabi? So where does this leave you practically? If you want to actually taste the real thing, you have to look for it intentionally. In Japan, high-end sushi restaurants and traditional establishments will sometimes use genuine wasabi, though even there, the fake version has crept into casual settings. Outside Japan, your best chance is at premium Japanese restaurants that explicitly advertise Hon-Wasabi, which simply means real wasabi. If they don't mention it, assume it's the paste. You can also order fresh rhizomes online from growers in Japan, New Zealand, and increasingly from farms in Oregon and British Columbia that have started cultivating it successfully. It's still expensive, still not as widely available as it should be, but it exists, and if you've never tried it, the experience is genuinely different enough to be worth seeking out at least once. Here's what I keep coming back to, though. This isn't really just a story about wasabi. It's a story about how easily a substitute can replace the real thing, so completely that the substitute becomes the default. Not through conspiracy, not through coordinated deception, but through the ordinary forces of convenience, cost, and the simple fact that most people never get the chance to compare the two side by side. Real wasabi costs more to grow. Fake wasabi is cheaper. The restaurant saves money. The customer doesn't notice the difference because they've never experienced the difference. The cycle repeats, and over decades, an entire food culture gets quietly replaced by a more convenient version of itself, and nobody really questions it until somebody stops and says, "Wait, what is this actually?" The science is telling us these two things aren't just culturally different. They're chemically different in ways that matter for your health, your experience, and your understanding of what you're actually putting in your body. You've been eating horseradish paste in green packaging and calling it wasabi. So has almost everyone you know. So did I for years. Now you know what it actually is. If this changed how you think about something you eat all the time, subscribe to the channel, because that's exactly what we do here. We take the familiar, the ordinary, the things we assume we understand, and pull the thread until something interesting falls out. See you in the next one.